Hi guys, it's Tracy in Australia. I hope that you are all safe and well. I've just popped in to show you what I was working on this week, and I'm calling it my envelope flippy thing, and you'll see why in a little minute. It was inspired by two videos the links were sent to me by my friend Sass from Junk Journal Junksters Down Under. Hi Sass. And I loved the tutorials. One was by Roxy Creations and one was by Christina Hicks. And they both worked with repurposed envelopes. And I will leave links to those in the description box. So this was a real challenge for me because although I love using old things and repurposed things, that usually takes the form of, say, music pages, pianola paper, old papers, pages from books. I don't tend to reuse junk mail and things like that. So this was a bit of a challenge, but I really enjoyed it and I love how my little flippy thing turned out. So it's just held closed by some seam binding and it measures about 4.5 by 9. There are different sized envelopes and I love how that looks. It really suits the scrappy style that I've been interested in for the last couple of months. So this smaller envelope on the front, which is my cover, I've covered with pianola paper and then stamped that. I actually did make my own window here with my die cut machine because this wasn't a windowed envelope. And then I have used some flowers that came off a notebook that I have had in my stash for a while. And this is actually a little Kaisercraft die cut piece. I collected a lot of commercial die cuts when I first started making journals before I knew about digitals. And so I have quite a lot of those and I've been trying to use them up. So up the top here, I've just used some little scrappy bits of lace and put an eyelet through them with a small safety pin and repurposed dangle from a necklace. So let's go in and have a look. The window, there is a tag behind that which comes out. So what I did here was to actually cut away part of the envelope and leave a large pocket. So I put a French book page which came from a book that the beautiful Fabienne sent to me. Hi Fabienne. And I love using those. So on the pocket, I've done lots of layering with various bits and pieces. And this was left over, a scrappy piece left over from a recent project, and then just added other bits. The tag was actually, that's been floating around for a while because I accidentally printed onto copy paper, and my digitals are generally printed onto, or nearly always printed onto matte photo paper. So I hadn't actually used that, and it really went with the colours and everything that I decided to use. So I've backed it with tea-dyed paper and so on around that. And these are some tags that I have had for years. And so they were perfect for this little project. And that is just some scrappy string that came with a package. I've had it sitting in my little string box for ages. And I decided to use the black machine thread, and that goes perfectly with it. So it was fun seeing what I had and trying to bring it together. So this is a half envelope, and I've stamped and put some Tim Holtz die cuts, and then I made a card, put a tag on it. This is a leftover piece of Artie Mays paper, and this is the back of the envelope, and I love how it's turned out. And what it is some paper napkin that I had used to wipe up some Lindy's spray, and I had just left it sitting on my table, and I thought, why not give it a go? And I love how it turned out. A little bit of white gesso and a little bit of gold foiling just really brings it up, and you can see the little dots, the perforated dots from the paper napkin, and I really like that. So my next envelope was this one, which flips down. So I actually made the envelope smaller. I just cut it with my cutter and left the window. Love the colour of the paper behind that. Popped a tag in and decorated it with some vintage music paper to make it stronger because it was actually coming apart down here. And then another die cut and another piece of floral paper from the notebook. Tiny wee little scrap of vintage lace. I like how it was torn here. And as I said, that flips down. I stamped the back of the envelope, popped a commercial card on there and left it open at the side. So just popped a little card in there that says remember when. Little Tracy Fox label. So the envelope that this flips down from, I have covered with, again, the a book page, French book page, done the decoupaging and made a little pocket. This is a scrappy piece of ephemera that I have in my ephemera box. And actually, I'll show that like that. There's a little notch here and another large tag, which is the other side of that paper. Again, the black machining, and I used a scrappy piece of Kaisercraft paper to back that with. So just using whatever is to hand. So this actually opens up, and there's another little envelope here. This was smaller and I did cut the ends off it, and I glued this one down but left it open at the sides to pop in a piece of ephemera, and this was just a little envelope that I had made. I've done lots of layering. There's a bit of stamping. I added these little offcuts and sewed those in to create like a little tiny booklet. I actually left this side of the envelope, and you can see the writing, and it's quite, and just did a little tiny bit of decoupage and glued the flap of the envelope back down. I've left that open and popped in a piece of ephemera. Again, something that was in my stash. The front here is decoupage with Tim Holtz tissue paper, which I've been using a lot recently. That's the original stamp from the envelope, and that's a Tracy Fox label. So this envelope, I just did I've covered that with the music paper and then did lots of collaging, cutting little bits and pieces up, and used a lot of that tissue paper and the golf wallet, and I love how it looks. I left that open at the side and put in a large tag from my stash. Have loads of these as well. Just trying to use them up now. And then I had this as well, which had been printed onto copy paper. And as I said, I prefer to use matte photo paper for my digitals. So I just turned that into a little booklet, put in lots of scrappy pages. That just goes in there. So over here is the other side of that small envelope that I tore in half, and I used a photo, and this photo had been damaged. I left something sitting on it, but it looks perfect in this journal, which is very scrappy, and I've put a die cut doily underneath that. I love the colors, and that's a Tim Holtz metal tag. I like how that looks. It just has that little bit of black and white, which kind of echoes this string. So that's actually a little pocket, and there's a couple of pieces of ephemera in that, looking very vintage, and again, that botanical bird sort of theme. And then that opens out. There's another little tuck spot. This is the same paper, and that was another leftover part. Lots of that napkin again, a little bit of stamping, some more gold foil, and a sweet tag that says celebrate. This is one of the first tags that I ever made. It's just I was practicing my stamping. So I love that that's in there. Little photo. When I print out photos, I usually use 4x6 glossy paper, and if I want a small image, I print out multiples and then put them into a box so that I've got them there to use. Again, some little tags, music paper with the decoupage. That colour went really well with that. That was just a little commercial piece. And up the top here is a tag. The other side of that paper, that just goes in there. And that's the back. Just used music paper and then decorated with doily and a little bit of that floral notebook. So there it is, my flippy thing. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, everybody, and I'll see you again soon.